Welcome to the couch. And today's relationship topic is a really interesting one. So here's a question for you. Is longevity a sign of a happy marriage? And air quotes on the word happy. On relationship today, we have Olabisi Shoeton. Now, she's going to try her best to answer that for us. She's a certified emotional intelligence and marriage coach and the founder of Secret Place Wife. Okay, so yes, you might find it very, I've heard that before. Well, last month we had the Secret Place husband, and now this month we have the Secret Place wife. An interesting combination in your household, I have to say. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know that you've been on the show before. This was probably, what, 3 years ago?
I think so.
3 or 4 years ago?
Yes.
And a lot has happened since then. Your community has grown. Your online community has grown. And this was one of the conversations you've had online in recent times. So a lot of couples have, they'll be celebrating 20 years, 30 years, and so on. And it does make some people feel intimidated. So do you believe longevity equals happy marriage?
Well, I think it goes without saying, especially because we all know that couple around us that have been married for 20 years. Some are parents, married for 20, 30 years, and the testimony is that we don't want what they have, Indeed, there are some people who have also been married for long, and they seem happy, even killed, But the answer is not a blanket yes or no, But obviously, longevity is not an indication that the marriage is successful or happy. But longevity can mean that there's been some form of consistency, resilience, dedication towards each other, forgiveness, all of which are components of a happy marriage.
Okay.
Do you see? So, but the answer is that longevity itself, which is the length of time that a couple has been married, is not necessarily the marker of the fact that they're successful and that relationship is happy.
So there are probably people watching now who've considered, ending a marriage. They've considered saying, you know what, I don't want this anymore, for whatever reason. It might not be something violent. It might not be something really bad. It might just be
irreconcilable differences.
Something just makes them want to end it. But because of that mindset of, oh, the Johnsons have been together for 30 years, you know what, let's see if I can just bear it. For those who are just stomaching a lot of tension like that, what advice do you have for them?
So it's not necessarily because the Johnsons have been married for 30 years. Typically, as a society, we're not really that accommodating of people who, in quote, have failed marriages. Now, the conversation itself is like we're talking about successful, unsuccessful marriages, failed and happy ones. Now, that would suggest that if you are not in a marriage for a long period of time, you would have failed. And that itself is a problem.
Okay.
So that when people now come out of a relationship, either because they have been abused or just they cannot reconcile the differences, they're ashamed. Do you see? So there's that idea that, oh, I don't want to be shamed. I don't want people to feel like we failed at this. So we typically personalize our success, our failure, personal success and failure on the longevity of our marriage. And that's a much bigger problem than having the Johnsons as your neighbors who have been married for 40 years. So I think that generally as a people, we need to be more accommodating of the fact that relationships don't work out. Sometimes people are not as mature as they should be. Anything but still be more, just responsible and cooperative and just collaborative.
So the way longevity seemingly equals happy marriage, it sort of seems like a short marriage equals an unhappy one or an unsuccessful one. But are you trying to say that there are short marriages that are happy?
Well, happiness in itself is like a U-curve in a marriage. So it goes up, comes down, goes, come up, can come down. So we cannot really say that it's basically about the length of time. I mean, one would even look at it logically. If you were happy, why did you let go?
Okay.
Why did you divorce?
Okay.
But the point is that even in marriage, if it's going to be a successful marriage, we must embrace the fact that happiness comes and goes. You know, sometimes you are happy, sometimes it may be a season where you're parenting your children and things are a bit tough. You know, the understanding is seeming a bit impossible in that season until you figure it out. Sometimes it's a new job, you know, even some form of depression or personal life crisis. So happiness in itself in marriage goes in the you know, shape and up and down. So I feel like at the end of the day, whether it's a short marriage or a long marriage, it is a marriage, and the people must know what they want from it.
I'm going to touch on what we've heard many coaches say. Your happiness is not dependent on another person. I've heard so many coaches say it, you know, it's on every mug and social media posts now for motivational speakers. Now, it does feel like being happy in a marriage does depend on how you are treated or how you are perceived or how you are received by your partner. So I wanted to sort of maybe bust that myth in a sense, because there are some people who are in marriages where the partner deliberately tries to make the other person feel unhappy. It does feel like there are people like that.
Yeah, I think there are people like that. But when coaches or counselors say that your happiness is not dependent on the other person, it's to attempt to bring a self-awareness, a consciousness to the fact that at the end of the day, happiness comes from within. That way, you're more tolerating. And another fact that supports that is, if you're going to in any way fix any relationship problems, you need connection first. So if you and I are fighting, and I've judged the matter, concluded that what you did is wrong and with bad intentions, it'll be very unlikely that I will move towards you in reconciliation or that I will be receptive of you. Do you see? But if I understand that my happiness flows from within, I can pause and consider what's my part in that situation. I can start figuring out, okay, what could I have done better? Even if it means working out, I could have done that differently. Once I'm able to bring myself to a calm state, realizing that my happiness is not dependent on whether you come to apologize or not, then I'm in a better place to receive reconciliation or to even a fight. That's why it's important. But it doesn't stand alone to say, oh, your partner shouldn't make you happy. Your partner is not just the source, but they're a contributor to it.
I love the way you wrap that up. I think I'm going to tweet that. Your partner is not the source of the happiness, but a contributor, a major contributor.
Absolutely.
To your happiness. We would love to know what you think about this. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC with your comments and contributions. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you.
All right then, so have you asked yourself that question? So many more will be answered. We're going to take a break. Stay with us.